All right, welcome everybody. Let's take a look at the stock market. This is the S&P 500 futures. We're first going to look at the weekly chart. As I always advocate taking a look at multiple time frames to keep in sync with what's going on. So here on the weekly chart, you can see we have a little bit of a red candlestick going on. Okay, market's very bullish. Look at this run. My goodness. Even from all the way back here. Right, excuse me. This was back in, I guess that was March or April. Yeah, back in March. Been on fire ever since. Just going. Okay, I do think the market's going to stall a little bit, maybe come down a little bit here in July 3rd. And also, I think August 13 has a potential for the market to pull back. Beyond that, we got this August 29th cycle low. And I'll keep track of these cycles to see if they're changing, but right now I'm going to keep them the way they are. You can see some divergence going on here on the SMI. The MACD, since back there in March, on the weekly here, the momentum's in positive territory. Can it get higher than 97? Yeah, I mean, it can. I'm not saying that it will, but it can. Look way back here. This is prior to all-time highs. Look at this. It was running at 175. I mean, just looking at this number right here, right? It is ridiculous. 175 back on the week of May 3rd. You talk about a propped up market. I mean, how often do you see the MACD to 175 on the weekly? I think this was the only time in history we saw the numbers like this. And so, why am I mentioning that now? Well, when you got Kevin McCarthy, and I'm not trying to be political here, I'm just keeping things related to finances, to the marketplace. When you got Kevin McCarthy handing the Democrats and socialists for, unlimited debt ceiling, trillions of dollars, where do you think some of that money's going? What do you think they do with that money? So don't think the market can't go higher, because it can. I'm not saying it's going to, but just be aware. There's a whole lot of money being printed up. I call them I'm not, I'm a conservative, but when it comes to Republicans, I call them the Republicans, because, they don't get anything done. Or anyway, enough of politics. I just wanted to mention that the debt ceiling deal does come into play with the stock market. All right. But just keep in mind these dates. I think the market might start to cool off, and we might see it begin to roll over here. Okay, today was a very small day, 34, a range of 34, little tiny day. Okay. And today's June 22nd. I got a cycle low here, June 25th. Is this the end of the cycle? Is it going to bounce? It could. There could be a little more room in this going down, yeah. MACD's trying to cross over. So here, all of a sudden, this SMI is gotten pretty low, way down here. Just think, it was at 83, just 4 days ago. Right now it's at 8.25, but the market's barely pulled back. So you got this huge move in the stochastic momentum index. Okay, and the divergence warnings did come through, right? See the divergence dots? That's what those are. That tells us the market may pull back. In this case, it did. And but look at the market's barely pulled back here. So for now, still the market is, in my opinion, is very strong. This is just a little nothing pullback. I mean, from 4493 down to 4425. I mean, this thing is barely pulled back. So we're going to keep a close eye on this to see if that may be it. I'm not sure yet whether this is finished. Looks like there may be more to go, but sometimes it doesn't come all the way down here, okay? Okay, just wanted to talk real quick also about this certainty rate that came in the other day. There was a huge spike in the certainty rate. So as this cycle low matures and finishes up, wherever it finishes up, whether that's way over here, July 3rd, because this could run a little longer. It could run longer. Or it may not, because there's always a window, right? It isn't an exact date. When it comes to cycle lows, there's always a window, yeah? It spans about like a week or two. usually a few days, but it could be as much as a week or two sometimes, depending on how this cycle low plays out. But with this big of a certainty rate and how little this pullback's been so far, I would not be surprised to see, one more good hard run, get above this 4509. It could happen. So again, we'll pay attention to this to see how it plays out. If this starts to really roll over hard, then great. That's a different story. But right now, that just doesn't look like that's happening. All right, let's look at the 1 hour chart. I want to show you something on there. All right, this is the 1 hour chart we're looking at right here. This is really important to understand that. Now, this is today. I know it's kind of a small little thing to look at. I'll zoom in on it here in a minute. But what I want to show you is going all the way back here to last Friday. Look how at the end of the day, last Friday, that the market got below this 24-hour moving average. See that? That's this green line. Got below this. And it's been trading below it ever since. Right, I talked about this yesterday. You can see it came up right here, hit resistance, boom, 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 hits resistance. Keeps testing it, right? Every time it keeps testing it. Rides along it right here through the middle of the night, comes down Wednesday morning, comes up Wednesday during the day, hits resistance. And then last night, it really pulled down. Got a good gap going on. The distance. Today comes up, stalled. I was up early this morning watching the market, doing my trading, which by the way was a nice day. Good day to make bank. Hit this resistance right here on this candlestick right there. That was the 8 a.m. candlestick for me. 9 a.m. it busted through and it was game on. So it got above it, and then it got above the 50. This is the 50 hour. Okay, so now we're up here. This is really important occurrence because and until we see otherwise, for right now, this is a bullish occurrence. So I'm just going to kind of extend this. We're going to see, does the behavior of the market change? If it does, then we know that the daily chart we just looked at, the cycle low, has probably been set in. But we don't know that for sure yet. But what I mean by that is, if the market pulls back here and touches the 24-hour moving average and then bounces, right, and keeps doing one of these deals, I'm just making this up. It may not be this perfect, right? You follow me? It might be more ragged like we see here, kind of unpredictable. But this is a really important crossover when you start crossing over the 24-hour and even get above the 50-hour. You can see how this 24-hour line really provided resistance for, a better part of a week. And now we're above that. As a matter of fact, we got what we call the pre-Giddis alert going on right here on the hourly chart, this Giddis plus indicator. So we got a pre-Giddis alert going on here. You'll notice sometimes that happens like back here, and then maybe a few hours later. It doesn't always happen, but a few hours later we get the Giddis. This is the real alert we want to pay attention to. So I wanted to show you that. Pay attention to the market right now. It looks like it's got a bullish tendency going on. It's not really completely confirmed yet, but something to pay attention to. Let's take a look at the trade of the day. All right, here we are on the 5-minute chart, which by the way, this chart, the 5-minute, the 15-minute, and the 1 hour are streamed live to my members 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So if you're interested in becoming a member, just hang around for the end of the video and I'll talk to you about that. All right, so here's the trade of the day. Look at this. I think it was 8:30. There was actually more than one, but this one was so sweet. Look at this right here. My goodness, talk about a trade. Let me get the right thing here. I got something going on here. It's giving me the wrong. There we go. Got to get the pencil. Well, there it is right there. Now look at that. Boom. Right? From 43.95 all up to 44.15. And today, the total range for the day, I think, was 30 or 35. So again, another really small range day, right? So when you start getting this kind of movement and you're able to jump into a trade from, 43.95, 97-ish, somewhere in there, up to about 44.15, come on. You're looking at 20, A little more than 20 points on a 35 point day, right? Just think about it. Just do the math. That's supposed to be a 2, but anyway, what's 20 over 35? Right? Or 2 over 3, not quite. So in other words, this is the point I'm trying to make is if you get 20 points out of a small range thing like that, you've got the bulk of the chunk of the range for the whole day just on one trade. Okay, that's pretty big. So that was a huge, one of the great. As a matter of fact, I traded during this time. Actually, I'm sorry, I traded pre-market. I traded right here, this little pullback right here. Made some nice money on this little pullback. And sometimes that's all it takes. I trade futures. I don't have to have a big move to make a lot of money in futures. Okay. So, but this was definitely the trade of the day on the 5-minute chart. There was also one that came in right here. Look at this at 12:35. Look at that. Again, bam. Huge. I mean, over here you can see the MACD was in positive territory the whole time with a nice big gap going on right between the fast and the slow line. I mean, you're in, once you start seeing that kind of thing going on, you just stay in the trade. Now, you know, as the SMI got peaky right here, you can always get out right here if you want to. That's fine. You know, you're still looking at 7 or 8 points if you were really, really conservative here. But, you know, most traders are going to stay in, especially if they see the MACD staying this strong, right? They're going to kind of sweat through this, or you can jump out of the position, jump back in, but better to stay in there because all it did is track sideways and eventually got way up here. Okay, now we're on the 15-minute chart. This also streamed live to the members and they get the alerts to the Discord server. This was at 9:15 my time. Okay, look at this alert right here. Look at that. And then we had this huge candlestick. This candlestick alone was 18.75 range. We're looking at this number right here. That one candlestick alone, oops, it moved on me. That's okay. 1875. Yeah. Just that one candlestick was all you needed to trade. If that's all you traded all day long was this one candlestick. 15-minute candlestick. Huge. Absolutely trade of the day right there. We got in right here just as this candlestick closed, right? It gave us the alert. Take the trade. Now, it doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes you got to wait to see how things develop. Just because we've seen alert doesn't always mean we immediately take a trade. In this case, it worked out that way. All right, the SMI gave us the hint we needed to know. Now, personally, for me, I didn't take this trade, okay, because the MACD was very strong, and I find that to be a little bit risky, taking a short side trade when the MACD is strong. I'm not saying you can't do it, but it's a little bit risky. Better to, in my opinion, to wait it out, because as it turned out, this MACD, right, was telling us that the market was going to do something else, and it did, right? It went straight up. So there's a couple ways you can play that. I tend to wait it out. When I see an alert like that, I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to wait for the SMI to pull back. I used to take my trades right here, guys. I used to take my trade right in this area right here. When I see the MACD above the zero line like this, and I get an alert in this type of scenario, okay, and I see that happen to MACD, it comes down, bottoms out in the middle, and starts taking off again. Yeah, that's when I place my trade. I probably place my trade somewhere in this candlestick. Okay, then 44.05 all the way up to 44.15, another 10 points. So you had the 5-minute chart this morning that had a huge trade of the day. If you missed that one, you had this opportunity right here to make some more bank, yeah? Okay, over here on the Discord server, this is where all the services take place for the members. All right, so everything I showed you on the charts, the alerts actually come to the Discord server as well, and the members get alerted. So if they've got their mobile device, or if maybe some people are working from home or you're at work, either way you can get alerted on the Discord server, right? You can set the alerts the way you want. If you want these alerts, you come notifications, you set all messages. You can do that for gold and crude and stocks, top 30 stocks. The S&P 500 and the NASDAQ are here. Okay, for those who want to do swing trades instead of intraday stuff, daily only alerts. There's premium symbols, which I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so if you like everything you're seeing in this video so far, click on the link in the comment section. It'll be the top comment of this video. It's also a link in the description of this video. It's going to bring you over to Get a Server. You're going to click on Server Subscriptions. And let me tell you something, guys and gals. This is an amazing deal. $7.99 a month. Per month, I know I talked about this yesterday. I know services I paid over $1,000. Now it was a good service, but how many people want to pay $1,000? Very few, right? I see people charging hundreds of dollars every month. This service is inexpensive, and I keep it that way because inflation's crazy, and I want people to have access to a good service, a very good service that gives them a chance to make some bank, right? So everything you're going to get with the service is right here. Obviously, I'm doing a YouTube video that goes for everybody, not just the members, but everybody gets YouTube videos. But the members only get the streaming charts, the 5 minutes, the 15 minute, and the 1 hour. Talked about the the S&P 500 alerts, right? 5, 15 minute, 1 hour. Also, there's daily in here. Talk about the daily alerts. You can always pause this video. You can read this for yourself if you want. The alerts for the top 30 stocks, S&P 500. Okay, again, 5, 15 minute, and there's a daily here. Okay. Premium symbols. Now, this is the same logic that the Get Us Plus indicator that I use for the streaming charts. At the end of the day, goes out and gets all the symbols that meet the criteria for this algorithm, futures, optionable stocks. These are files that get dropped on a Discord server. Industries. So this is basically industry and sector, kind of sector rotation. What are the big money mutual funds doing? How are they rotating their money? Because if you don't know, the big funds, they rotate their money. So that's what that file helps people do, is look at the industries. Okay, and then symbols that look like they're in a position to be shorted. Okay, for my members, and welcome new members, a lot of new members. Make sure you put your email address in the email only channel in the Discord server. If you want to get the nightly email, that includes a chart of the S&P 500. I put my comments in there, but what I think the market's doing. I attach the S&P 500 chart to the email as well, and I usually mock it up to help give my opinion about what I think the market's going to do. Okay, hope everybody really enjoyed the video. Talk to you all real soon again next time.